Good morning, I'm Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. You know, one of my pet projects, one of the things I like to talk about is the whole publishing field. We have a lot of stories about it, usually a couple every week, it seems like. And, of course, one of my favorite companies in that space is John Hardy Publishing. It's a Texas-proud firm, and always delighted to have Dino Price, who is the president and CEO of that company and the publisher there. And Dino, good to see you. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Glad to have you on the program as usual. Tell the audience before you introduce your guest, which I think promises to be a great one. Tell us a little bit about the John Hardy story.
John Hardy, well, we established 1998 out in West Texas. Slowly moved to Houston over the few years. We've published Texas authors, Texas stories, biographies, nonfiction. Well, I say that, but we do have a few fictional works, but mostly nonfiction biography works.
And by the way, where did it start in West Texas?
It started in Marathon, Texas, and moved to Alpine, and then moved to Houston after the John Waller novel moved us to Houston.
There you go. And your guest today?
This is Wintress Odom. She is one of the few successful editors and ghostwriters we have in Houston.
Yeah, that's a very challenging field, interesting field, but challenging one. Wintress, welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Tell us a little bit about thewritersforhire.com.
All right. Well, The Writers for Hire is a full-scale editing, proofreading, and writing firm. We provide everything from marketing copy to full-scale books. And I understand that I am here today to talk a little bit about our ghostwriting services.
Yeah, absolutely. So before you get into the ghostwriting, why don't you kind of give us a panoramic overview of everything you do there at your firm?
Okay. Well, we have a great team working for us. We have 14 writers, and we literally do everything that a business could need for their writing services. So that's everything from website copy, white papers, brochures. You name it. We also do full-length books, and so we do a lot of books that are business-related or how-tos, self-helps. We have a lot of entrepreneurs, CEOs that want to tell, their stories or their expertise, talk about, whatever it is that they're good at, startups, turnarounds, etc. And the other area that we do a lot of is autobiographies, and that's one of my favorite things to do. I love the stories, the family histories. Being able to talk to some of these 70 and 80-year-olds about their stories is absolutely amazing.
Very good. Dino?
Well, something we're actually losing here in Texas, and just about any writer or publisher will tell you that Texas is losing its history. There's not enough people out there trying to put the history back on paper and dedicate it at least for momentum services or purposes anyway. Mm-hmm. And Wintress is actually trying to fill in that niche, and I'm trying to publish as many of those as I possibly can.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about the ghostwriting services that you offer.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of our ghostwriting falls into about 3 categories. So either business books, we do a lot of books for either working or retired executives, hedge fund managers. We do a lot of finance. Sometimes we have done some true crimes, which is not a business book, but a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely. So then sort of how-to self-help books for people that have an expertise in everything from the medical field to relationships. And then, again, the autobiographies is a big place for us. I really enjoy the autobiographies. I mean, I think we're losing so much history. People in their 70s and 80s have gone through so much. I mean, if you think, one of my favorite stories that we did is someone who was a Nazi war bride, actually. She was in the Hitler Youth when she was 12, and then she married an American soldier. She came out here and lived in Nevada, which was even more remote then than it is now. And, she has these amazing pioneer woman stories. And we're losing those. We lose those every day. And I just feel so honored to be able to tell those stories.
Yeah, that's great. And Dino, next question.
My question?
Yeah.
What project do you have going right now?
Well, I mean, I can't be too terribly specific about them because we are ghostwriters. So I can tell you in general that we're doing a couple of autobiographies for some of our well-to-do families here in Houston. So those are amazing stories. And then we are also doing some stories, like we're doing a relationship book, we're doing a health kind of self-help book. Let's see. We're also doing a book on shale and as in shale, oil and gas, fracking, and what the American kind of shale revolution has meant.
Yeah, talk a little bit about how the ghostwriting relationship works for your firm and that client.
Okay, so absolutely. So we are very, very customer service oriented. I think that's something that really sets us apart, and I know that sounds a little cliche, but you can be an amazing author or an amazing writer and really not be a very good ghostwriter. You have to work really, really, really closely with your clients in order to make it a true collaborative relationship and really be able to get your client's voice out there. It's not your message, it's their message. We're just the medium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Got just about a minute left. Final thoughts there, Dino? And by the way, I do want to mention again, John Hardy Publishing, John Hardy Publishers.
Publishers, yeah.
Yeah, .com. And then thewritersforhire.com. Final thoughts?
Well, I wanted to mention the coalition that we're putting together. Myself and a few other publishers here in Texas, we're putting together a distribution coalition to get wider distribution for our novels.
Awesome.
I believe it's going to be called the Texas Publishers Coalition.
Interesting. And where are you in that process?
We're right in the middle. We have negotiations with Baker Taylor, Simon Schuster, Ingram, and Hachette.
Yeah. And I have a final question for our guest. Do you work a lot directly with businesses, or is it almost entirely, because I could think businesses would want to tell their story, or they would want to tell the story of one of their C-level individuals. Talk a little bit about, is it mainly with individuals, or do you work also with actual companies? And that, yeah.
So typically it has been with individuals within the companies. Mm-hmm. So it's, say, a CEO or a CFO or a CMO that wants to tell about their specific expertise, and the story, of the business comes into that, but it's really you're working directly with him to tell the story.
Very good. Thanks to both of you. And again, Wintress Odom, and she's with the writersforhire.com, and Dino Price with johnhardypublishing.com. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. Do you want to remind you best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com, and this is The Price of Business.
When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed